Brazil. Brazil is a diverse land of music, beaches, historic colonial architecture, ancient people, and natural resources. One of the world's most inspiring places, Brazil boasts white sand beaches, lush rainforests, thundering waterfalls, and bustling cities. From the inland gateway capital of São Paulo, where one can see the influence of immigrants from many cultures, to the far-flung quiet tributaries of the Amazon River which teems with wildlife. There are countless places to visit, food and drink to enjoy, and plenty of things to do in Brazil. The tropical climate, friendly locals, and natural landscapes are three things that make Brazil unique. The cultural diversity, music scene, and variety of food also make every region of the country a must-visit. The first inhabitants of Brazil were indigenous people living in tribes near water bodies on the coast and alongside rivers. However, there is not much known about Brazil's history before the Portuguese arrived in 1500, when Pedro Álvares Cabral, commander of the Portuguese, claimed Brazil. In 1549, Salvador was founded by the Portuguese as the first capital of Brazil, and it became a significant port for slaves and sugarcane. In the 18th century, gold was discovered in Brazil and brought in many European immigrants. After the Independence War, Brazil claimed independence from Portugal, and Pedro I ruled until 1831. In 1889, the First Brazilian Republic was established after a military coup and the ousting of Pedro II. In 1967, its name changed again to the Federative Republic of Brazil. Brazil's current constitution was promulgated in 1988. The new constitution replaced the authoritarian legislation that was created by the military regime. In 1989, Brazil had its first election for a president by direct popular ballot. Today, Brazil has a strong democracy. Brazil's economy consists of mining, agriculture, services, and manufacturing. Brazil is a leading producer of minerals, and it exports vast quantities of steel, automobiles, electronics, and consumer goods. In 1720, Brazil discovered coffee, and by the mid-1800s, Brazil was responsible for half of the world's coffee production. From 1880 to 1920, Brazil saw a rubber boom in the Amazon and resulted in Manaus's village's transformation into a cosmopolitan center. There are 5 regions of Brazil. Northern Brazil is extremely tropical and covers more than 2/5 of the country. It also features the most considerable portion of the Amazon rainforest. In Brazil's northern region, you'll also find parts of the Guiana Shield and the highlands of Brazil. In northeastern Brazil, find some of the country's driest and hottest weather conditions. This region boasts cities dating back to the 16th century when sugarcane plantations were active and established. There is a lot of Brazil farm and agricultural production here. The Central West consists of Goiás, Mato Grosso, and Mato Grosso do Sul and the Federal District. The region consists of forested valleys, arid highlands, and lush wetlands. A small part of the nation's population lives here. The southeastern region includes São Paulo state, landlocked Minas Gerais, and the populous coastal state of Rio de Janeiro. The city of Rio de Janeiro remains Brazil's leading cultural and tourist center. One of the greatest features of southern Brazil is the spectacular Iguaçu Falls at the Argentine border. From Curitiba, a beautiful Brazil train journey takes visitors through the Atlantic rainforest to Morites. In Brazil, the environment consists of 7 biomes: the Amazon, the Cerrado, the Caatinga, the Pantanal, the Atlantic forest, the Pampa, or southern fields, and the coastal. Iguaçu Falls is one of the most breathtaking natural wonders in Brazil. The mighty Iguaçu Falls often end up being the highlight of many trips to Brazil. It's hard to compete with around 275 waterfalls that span approximately 2 miles in length, falling all at once. To see the Iguaçu Falls in their full glory, visit during the rainy season, December to February. This is when there is usually most water passing over the falls. With the water and the humidity, the area around Iguaçu is lush and full of wildlife. The biodiversity of the area is worth staying a few days to observe. Bird tours are an immensely popular activity in the Iguaçu Falls area. You will also find large mammals such as the jaguar, the lowland tapir, and the capybara. According to the World Tourism Organization, WTO, Brazil is one of the world's most popular destinations and has some of the best tourist attractions. From leisure to adventure travel, Brazil has it all. Rio de Janeiro, the seaside city famed for its beautiful beaches, Copacabana and Ipanema, and the incredible celebration, Carnival. São Paulo, a modern metropolis considered the New York City of Brazil. Salvador da Bahia, a colonial city known for its Portuguese architecture, Afro-Brazilian culture, and a tropical coastline. The Amazon rainforest. Brazil hosts 60% of the Amazon rainforest. Lençóis Maranhenses, a dazzling display of dunes, white sand beaches, and crystal clear water. Paraty, a well-preserved colonial town, perfect for honeymooners, where the cobblestone streets give way to the ocean. Recife and Olinda, known as the Venice of Brazil. Recife boasts a beach that is 11 miles long and is famous for its canals, historic town center, and bridges. Ilha Grande, an island in Rio de Janeiro state covered by Atlantic rainforest and full of beautiful beaches and perfect snorkeling conditions. Ouro Preto, a colonial town known for its Baroque architecture, rolling hills, and cobblestone streets. Tiradentes, a quaint town full of Baroque churches, artisan chocolate shops, art galleries, and more. Belo Horizonte, surrounded by mountains and full of Oscar Niemeyer's architecture, and not far from the incredible Inhotim Museum. There are modern metros in both Rio de Janeiro and São Paulo. However, locals mostly use city buses and minivans as a standard way of public transportation. In rural areas, the most common local transport is the motor taxi. Brazilian culture is something you need to experience. One of the best parts of Brazil's culture is beach life. A major part of Brazil's culture revolves around enjoying the beach. Take a long walk along the coast, grab a seat, and refresh yourself with a beverage while watching happy locals walk by. Sunbathers, swimmers, and people watchers all are part of the Brazilian cultural experience. Another major part of Brazil's culture is the festivals, particularly Carnival. Samba is the name of the game in Carnival. The dates of Carnival change every year because it is a pre-Lent festival. Carnival is celebrated all over the world, but none more famous than the one in Rio de Janeiro. The origin of the music of the Brazilian Carnival started in the northeastern state of Bahia. Rising bleachers are out in the open, looking down on a wide street where the 13 samba schools parade through their massive drum lines. They compete over a few days, with the competition lasting several hours through the night. Around 500,000 people come to join in the festivities over the carnival time. Those street parties are entirely free.